So here we are, guys, on the penultimate episode of Lowdown before WrestleMania. It's going to be a big one. We've got a lot planned, and hopefully we can cover enough topics to keep you guys entertained for the next 2 hours. Obviously, you're here with myself. I'm Craig. We've got Paul with us. Chris is going to join us in a bit, and of course, don't forget, we've always got Krista joining us a little bit later. To start us off tonight, guys, we're going to have Paul, who's got a little bit to say about this week's Raw. We want to know, though, whether you agree with what he says. So send us in your tweets and let us know.
Thank you, sir. All right, here we go. Since this morning, I've been trying to figure out what I was going to say about Raw, WrestleMania, WWE, pro wrestling in general. Been pacing around, cutting a promo in my head that no one would ever hear. Piecing together thoughts, words, emotion, tone, trying to get it just right. The perfect rant. I was going to go on a tirade about the build to Mania, how the main event has been pushed to the back burner, how Randy Orton is positioned to be the face of the company, how hard it is to find someone that can do a decent Russian accent. And then I watched the Shawn Michaels retirement match. Of course, already knowing the outcome, I got sucked into it. With each near fall, I crept closer to the edge of my couch until the match was over. I was spent, just as Taker and Shawn Michaels were as well. Then it hit me. I remembered something. I love pro wrestling. Not just WWE, but pro wrestling. There's no other form of entertainment like it. It brings out emotion unlike anything. It's a Hollywood action blockbuster mixed with a daytime soap opera with a pinch of pro sports thrown in, and that's just the start. We all can remember our first experience. It's right up there with our first kiss, first cigarette, first scary movie. It's a defining moment in each of our lives, and I'd love to hear those stories. And actually, I think that'd be a great show idea. Have everybody send in their first pro wrestling memories. Each Raw is someone's first. Each Mania is someone's first, and eventually they will become just like us. It'll consume them, drive them, inspire them to go on Twitter, start a podcast, go to the gym, practice promos in the mirror, the same thing that we've all done. Once it gets into you, it'll never get out. It's like a drug. You will get addicted if you let it. You'll swear you're going to quit, but it's only momentarily. You know you'll come back, and why? Because you love it. You may not love every company, wrestler, match, or show, but you'll watch, always with the hope of seeing a great promo, a 5-star match, a holy shit moment that you can only get from pro wrestling. So let's all remember why we watch it, debate about it on Twitter, fantasy book, write about it, podcast about it. I feel bad for the people that don't understand us, our love and passion for what's essentially a TV show. Yes, we know it's scripted and not real. Guess what? The Walking Dead isn't real either. But that doesn't stop you from having a play when the zombie apocalypse hits. We know WWE isn't perfect, and it's real easy to get salty about the product, and occasionally you need to go to rehab. But a fix is only a Monday away. I have a confession. My name is Paul Sweat, and I love pro wrestling.
Damn. That was straight off the heart. Shoot, how are we going to follow that, man? When I say straight off the heart, I mean, I know you're reading from a sheet, but damn. Wow. So there you have it, guys. I mean, what a way to kick off this week's Lowdown, and what a way to make sure that you guys keep paying attention to us. Please tell your friends, share your thoughts, and as I've just said on Twitter, like Paul suggested, let us know what your first memory of pro wrestling was. So let's just reflect that off you guys. Chris, what's your first memory of pro wrestling?
WrestleMania 21. It was the first thing that I ever really paid any attention to. I remember Orton versus Taker on the card. I remember Hollywood Hulk Hogan coming out. That was my first real memory to be said of. Yeah.
Good strong memory, good WrestleMania to go with. Paul, what was yours, man? I know it's probably a different era, but what's your first memory of pro wrestling?
My first memory of pro wrestling or WrestleMania?
Pro wrestling.
Pro wrestling, it was the War to Settle the Score on MTV. It was before WrestleMania 1. I don't remember exact details. I just remember Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan, Cyndi Lauper, Mr. T, just the biggest stars of the day on MTV, which was like the coolest thing in the world. And that was it. I was hooked since.
For me, I mean, my first moment of pro wrestling was seeing Shawn Michaels dangling over the top rope at Royal Rumble '95. I mean, what a great moment that was. Feet dangling one at a time, you know. And then after that, my first clear memory is like Edge and Christian and the Hardys on Heat, just before it would have been No Mercy in 1999. And I'm watching it in my living room with all my friends, and all of a sudden these guys are hitting each other with ladders, and you just see the Hardy Boys sitting on top of the ladders before the end of the show. That grabbed me. I don't remember anything else after that. I just remember thinking, this is incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't take much. Once you find that one thing that hooks you, that's it. You're done. You're in.
It does. You know, it's one of those things. Pro wrestling, like you said, is a drug. We always go back to it because we know we can, and it gives us that hit. And after watching Wrestling's Not Wrestling, hopefully a lot of our listeners have seen that now. It's absolutely tremendous. If you get a chance to see it, go watch it. It is a soap opera. It is a Hollywood, film. It's all those things that we can add to it story-wise. And there's a lot of people who don't understand it. So hopefully, after watching that, and obviously listening to yourself, Paul, people will give it a shot and they'll understand. But then this is where I ask you guys, what does WrestleMania mean to you? What is WrestleMania?
Good, Chris.
Paul, you're on a roll. You go.
Oh, well, geez, it would also appear to be that I also have something prepared here. So, what does WrestleMania mean to me? It's a Super Bowl. It's Game 7 of the World Series. It's a Sopranos series finale, all rolled into one. It's the showcase of the Immortals. It's the culmination of a year's worth of stories. It's the end and start of the year for WWE. Careers are made, stars are turned into superstars. Defining moments become your defining moments. It's Steamboat Savage, Hogan, Andre, Rock, Austin. It's the Hall of Fame, reliving your youth and spending time with friends. It is pro wrestling, the night where casual fans become one of us. It's new stars, nostalgia, and holy shit moments. It's the playing to close out the show. It's Rey Mysterio with a different comic-inspired outfit. It's emotion in its purest form, whether it's Shawn Michaels saying, "I love you and I'm sorry" to Ric Flair, the streak being broken, or Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit celebrating. It makes you feel something. It's a day we all mark on our calendars, take pilgrimages to like it's the Holy Land, or simply take a day off of work. It's a holiday. It's Vince McMahon's baby and his legacy. It's a day where all of us are pro wrestling fans.
And again, Chris, please feel free to follow up on that. That was...
It's exactly like you said. It's a start and the beginning. It's the cycle. It's the rebirth in a way. It's everything to the year builds towards Mania. Everything the day after Mania builds towards the next Mania. That's really the way that things go. When you look at some of the events that have happened over the years, you look at the storylines that have been built, you look at things like The Rock and Cena building up to Rock Cena 2, you look at things like Taker, Shawn Michaels, even got to Taker, Shawn Michaels 2. It's a cycle. You look at every single story that happens at a WrestleMania, you look at every story that happens the day after WrestleMania, they all start to build somewhere. Everything that happens, everything from Rusev, everything to Ryback, Zack Ryder, maybe not Zack Ryder, but everybody kind of has that.
See, to me, like, pro wrestling and WrestleMania, they're like the bread and butter of a wrestling fan. You just can't help yourself. No matter how much fans bitch and moan about how bad this build to WrestleMania has been, every single one of them is going to watch it. And that's just, to me, is incredible. Wrestling becomes like a cult. And WrestleMania is, it's just the Woodstock or the Super Bowl or the Tea in the Park if you're from Scotland. It's just one of those things. It's the Pope coming out with the Vatican. Wrestling fans just have to see it.
It's Jonestown, and Vince McMahon is making us drink the Kool-Aid. That's what it is.
And it's beautiful. It's like if you had Peter Jackson standing in front of you narrating Lord of the Rings while it played in the background. You'd be hooked, but you shouldn't be. And WrestleMania, to me, although it's one of these big merchandise things where people sit and they go, "Oh my god, I spent so much money on this year. Vince McMahon's stealing my wallet. Ha ha ha." It doesn't matter.
It's designed to do that.
Because you're enjoying yourself.
Oh,
And for
it's a memory you're never going to forget. It's more than money.
exactly. For those 4 hours, it's the experience of a lifetime.
Except for this year, it's going to be like, what, 16 hours or some shit like that?
Oh, this year is, 4 hours pay-per-view and 2 hours pre-show. Which is only going to have one match on it, apparently.
But it's going to be incredible. Who cares? I'll sit and watch the whole lot. I mean, the show itself, I might look back on it 2 days after and be like, oh, this is awful. But at the time, that's going to be like the best wet dream you've ever had.
I can tell you right now, if you want to make your WrestleMania more interesting, place money on it.
We at Levels of Wrestling do not condone gambling.
Yeah, it absolutely makes sense. I mean, you know, I play fantasy football for money, and yeah, trust me, it makes everything more interesting. Money always does.
Believe me, I haven't accumulated going on the World Heavyweight Championship, the Battle Royale, the Intercontinental Championship, Sting versus Triple H, Taker versus Wyatt, and what's the final one? Cena versus Rusev. My accumulator for £10 comes back at a potential return of £1,600.
Yeah, I guess that would make WrestleMania more interesting.
Oh yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't understand silly money, that's about $1,600.
Yeah, it's a good chunk of change.
That is a good chunk of change. Do you know what? I do love a good kiss ass, and I'm so glad that people are tweeting in tonight because it's going to be a good show. Let's start from the bottom and let's see what we've had in so far. So the Wrestling Doctor's first memory of pro wrestling was Razor Ramon and Diesel leaving WWF in '95 and '96.
Ooh.
X-Diggy Gaming says the first thing he can remember was Taker versus McMahon Buried Alive, and I'm assuming that's Survivor Series 2003, which is actually one of the first wrestling DVDs I owned, so good choice. Burnings Piritu, sorry if I've said that wrong, man, says Shawn and Triple H at SummerSlam '02. And then, of course, we get to the one that is my favourite kiss-ass comment of the night so far. X-Diggy Gaming says, WrestleMania brings people together who don't like wrestling. It's just that damn good. Is this Morgan Freeman of the wrestling world? Level or low? No, but I'll tell him you said hi. Guys, let's get into it. I mean, obviously...
My God, I feel so old. Like,
I know, those were a lot of recent matches. They were.
good Christ, I'm fucking old. Jesus.
We know.
Oh my God, the only thing I can remember nowadays is pro wrestling. That's it. I can't remember fucking anything else, but I can remember wrestling.
And do you know what? That's one of the great things. Like you said, it's an experience that you'll always remember. Even watching at home, there's always something you'll remember. Like, I guarantee those people who watched WrestleMania for the first time last year have that memory of Daniel Bryan and all the yes chants. Or even...
Oh, if that was your first Mania? Good Christ, what a great show. What a great introduction.
And the thing people remember the most is Taker, the reaction when Taker lost.
Yep.
I mean, if that's your first WrestleMania, the ups and downs in that pay-per-view.
You could have heard a pin drop that night.
And it's beautiful. I mean, like you said, WrestleMania brings everyone together for a memory that you'll never forget. WWE, hire me. I'll be your spokesman for this. Honestly, that was beautiful. You know, WrestleMania, a family experience. Guys, let's get into it for this week. How did you find Raw? Let's go positive first. Chris, I believe you said that you quite enjoyed this week.
I wouldn't necessarily say I enjoyed it. What I did like and found refreshing was, which is ironic because it's always the same thing, Lesnar's, well, I wouldn't call it a promo, but video thing. I found that more interesting that they're building now the match. I was very, very impressed with Reigns when he got in the ring with him, and then he cut his little promo and he was looking at the camera and he was talking to Lesnar. I was pretty impressed with that. I've got to give it hat off to Roman Reigns for keeping up.
Oh, he can. and he will. He can, 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 and he will.
He thinks he can. He thinks he can. He thinks he can.
He's the little train who could.
Yep.
Paul, how did you find it, Raw?
No.
You don't need to be positive. It's low down, not break.
I was not a super huge fan of it. I thought the in-ring was fucking shit. I thought a lot of the build was really lackluster. Cena knocked it out of the park with his promo, but in the same segment, you had that whole Rusev bullshit. I mean, seriously, what are they thinking taking Lana off TV at this point in time? She is the only thing that is over about Rusev. That was just an embarrassment. What else? Roman Reigns, though, he fucking killed it. And you were absolutely right, Chris. Couldn't agree with you more. Just that little subtle thing of him looking down the barrel of the camera, staring right into Brock Lesnar's soul, and cutting that promo. Perfect. It was exactly what he needed. And Brock, his pre-recorded stuff, that was great as well. The only thing that I'm not getting right now is, you're positioning Randy Orton. You're making Randy Orton look like he's in the main event of WrestleMania. I'm not fully understanding that. I think it's cool. I mean, this is about as much as I've ever liked Orton. I think he's doing great things right now. Sting coming out at the end, okay, whatever. I'm not going to get too excited for a 70-year-old guy getting winded after doing a Stinger Splash, but it was cool to see it in a WWE ring.
You gotta say, though, how smart was it WWE to put Sting's first words in WWE on the network exclusively?
Yeah, it didn't even work for me.
But it was clever business. That was the important thing.
Oh, absolutely. That was so super smart.
Okay, Raw for me was, I give it a strong 6.5 out of 10. For those of you who don't know, I book Raw out of 10, but I book a pay-per-view out of 5, because I expect a lot more from a pay-per-view, so the system is a lot harder to grade. I give Raw exclusively a 6.5, because each segment it wasn't great, but it was above average. My favorite bits, personally, were, like you guys have already said, the Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns promos. They were really good. I enjoyed, obviously, like Randy Orton at the start of the night, and obviously the build towards the Seth Rollins match. I'm gonna be honest, Cena Rusev just didn't do it for me. I struggled getting into that, and it was partially because of the bad Texan doing the Russian accent.
Oh, it's terrible.
No, that was...
You know what's bad when JBL has to go and bury him live on TV because he's been told to.
Yeah, that was bad. But you know what though? A good cover, almost a good cover though by JBL or whoever was telling him to go. Holy Christ, this guy fucking sucks. Start making fun of him.
I am imagining it was Vince. I can imagine.
Yeah. Something tells me that was Vince.
The Divas actually got a surprising amount of time. For the start of Raw, good 10 to 15 minutes. Sorry, 10 to 12 minutes, I believe they got. And if you give them that kind of time at WrestleMania, it could be a half-decent match. I think that's just going to show Vince exactly what the Divas can do. I say Divas lightly because only some of them can do that. Let's not get into, hasty territory and say all of them can.
That match was a mixed bag. I mean, yeah, you know what? It was really cool to see them be the opening match and to be given, 10 minutes. That was really cool. I just wish there was better workers.
Exactly, and that's why I say only some of the Divas.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Next week needs to be a sellout. It needs to be the best Raw of this year. And by this year, I mean from WrestleMania to WrestleMania. It needs to be better than the night after WrestleMania last year.
What sucks, though, is that we've been saying that since Fastlane. And since the Royal Rumble, we've gone, well, you know what, it's WrestleMania season, we got to build up. They got to really crank it out of the park these next couple weeks. Then it turned into the next 3 weeks, they really got to do it. Then it was, well, they still got 2 weeks. It stinks. I mean, it's just really getting mailed in, and that WrestleMania card is exciting when you look at it. That is one stacked fucking card. that I
And
am
it's
totally excited for.
built much bigger, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this should be like a blow-away, great WrestleMania. I am so excited for it, despite the build.
Um, let's just ask then. Obviously, this card's looking good, and Mania's looking good. But what do you feel they need to do next week to make Raw be a great go-home show? Like, what do they need to do to push all these feuds on that last little bit?
Oh, that show needs to end with a pull-apart brawl with Lesnar and Reigns.
Kind of similar to Cena Brock was in 2012 for Extreme Rules, yes?
Yeah, I want to see both those guys with fucking bloody mouths. And even before that, I want Brock to go on a path of rage.
I'm going to step in.
Just destroying Samoans.
I'm going to step in and say, no, the only one that needs to bleed it is Brock. Because it needs to leave that question of doubt in everyone's mind. Could Reigns do it?
Right, yeah. He is a man. He's not a machine. Yeah, that type of thing. Yeah, that needs to be built up. I don't want to see Taker. I know a lot of people have said that they want to. No, just save him for Mania. That's fine.
Yep.
You know, we've been here before, and it worked out really great. So, you know, just save him for Mania. That's fine. What else? Anything else? Go ahead, Chris.
Seth Rollins needs to get the better of Randy Orton.
Yeah, it does look incredibly one-sided right now. It does need to be balanced out a little bit. It will not be believable if they go into this and Randy Orton looks like he's just completely annihilated Rollins. It needs like a bit of a back and forth, like everything really does.
Okay, and I think there was one other thing I said, and it was that Cena Rusev, they need to either come to blows, or Rusev needs to do something extremely heel, because I need to be able to care about this match more than just Russia versus America.
Well, I was actually going to suggest something, but it's still Russia versus America, but it would be extremely heelish, and it would probably get some of them, well, it would get them arrested for the most part.
Go for it.
I was going to say set the American flag on fire, but we know how the Americans like their flag.
Ooh, yeah, we can't do that.
They can at least tease it, though.
Oh, they can tease it, don't get me wrong.
Wait, he keeps and Cena stops him.
Even in a bit of a tamer era, when you had Sergeant Slaughter being an Iraqi sympathizer, you know, even he wouldn't burn the flag. So, you know, they could even reenact that same thing and just have Rusev burn a Cena shirt.
Okay.
That could work. I could buy that.
We've had two questions come in. Let's hit off with the first one. We spoke about divas. Who do you guys feel are the good diva workers? And that came from McNabby Chick. Or Chic.
One of mine would have to be, actually going by the list, everyone says AJ isn't good. I'd put AJ on there. Characterization, she knows what she's doing. I'll give I'll give Brie Bella some credit. I'll give Stephanie McMahon, if you want to count her. Natalya, Naomi, Paige. I think I've just summed it all up.
Yeah, I would agree. I would maybe take the Brie Bella off there.
The only reason I say Brie Bella is because the training that she had with Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
I feel like that has, comparing her like 3 years ago to her now, she's improved.
If you want to talk about NXT, I mean, all the ladies
almost all of them, Jesus.
Yeah, all of them. They're good.
They can all outwork everyone on the main roster.
For the most part. But, you know, a lot of that goes into the training that they're having down there. You know, they're getting the training, and more importantly than that, they're getting the confidence of everyone going, hey, you know what, you guys are part of our biggest strength. You know, go out there, kick ass. You know,
man, there's stuff they got to do in Ohio as well, man.
Yeah, you know, and that and just a little bit of confidence will just up your game exponentially. So.
Yeah, the fact that Vince McMahon has said, you know, or Paul Levesque, maybe, the fact that one of them has turned around and said, fuck it, you guys are performing in California over WrestleMania weekend, has probably helped a shit ton with that.
Yep. I'm just going to say as well, we just got quickly asked, do I feel that AJ is overrated?
Yes,
Completely.
Paul does.
Completely.
Yes.
Hey, Krista, how you doing? Which
Good.
divas do you feel, Krista, are the best on the roster at the moment?
Best on the roster. Um, Charlotte.
Cool.
Okay, Charlotte.
That's it.
Sorry, let me get my brain here together.
She's good.
Charlotte, definitely. I'd have to say, again, on the main roster, I would say Paige, of course, and Natalia. The Bellas have improved, but this is their second run, so if they hadn't improved by now, that'd be really sad. So, of course, they've improved, but NXT, besides Charlotte, points go to Bayley because she has improved quite a bit. Sasha Banks, and I'm kind of liking Becky Lynch.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what, Becky Lynch I quite enjoy at the moment?
I gotta say, I love me some Sasha Banks.
Oh, the boss is in the building.
Yeah, she also Blue Pants.
I just wish they'd give her a real name.
No,
Who?
Blue Pants.
that's a perfect gimmick. It just leads all into the whole illusion of indie that WWE is doing to you. It's perfect.
Enzo, Cass, and Blue Pants. It's fine.
Oh, Enzo and Cass, my life. Anyway, guys, before we go on to the next topic and the next question that we were given, please make sure if you're enjoying what we do, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. Tell your friends, make sure we get more people tuning in, more questions for you guys to hear. The better we can do for you, the more we get out of you back, and we can hear all your thoughts too.
You want me to do a question?
Don't forget, we are working on an app to further your enjoyment of our product.
Indeed. Yeah, Paul, you go with your question first.
All right, I got one from Beanie Girl. She says, what do we think the response will be if Ambrose doesn't win the IC title and Bryan does?
I don't think it'll be that. Well, first off, I'll be fucking celebrating because that'll be something on my accumulator. But honestly, I think that'll be a better move. I feel like Ambrose would be better feuding with Bryan than he would just winning outright at Mania. I feel like that would really help elevate Ambrose to that sort of level. Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
I want, obviously, I would rather Daniel Bryan walked out as champion. It does more for the belt, it does more for the company, it does more for the guys in the match, and then it also gives the opportunity for Dean Ambrose to turn heel. All possibilities coming out of this. You've got guys like Dolph Ziggler that could become heel. Obviously, Wade Barrett could do something face afterwards. There's a big turn of events that can come out of this, and it makes the mid-card look relevant as well.
Yep.
But I would definitely say I would rather Daniel Bryan walks out champion instead of Dean Ambrose.
As long as it's either Ziggler or Ambrose that walks out with the belt, the fans won't completely shit on it and turn on whoever it is. Those guys are pretty much bulletproof. But yeah, I completely agree with you, Craig. I really think that Daniel Bryan should walk out with that belt.
To be fair, Barrett would get away with it, just barely.
But you know what, though? We're all just going to go, oh, boy, this guy walks out with the belt. He's just lost for 2 months fucking straight clean on TV.
Well, and he's in his 5th title reign, and it's not like any of those title reigns have done crap for him.
He's won 4 matches in 5 reigns.
He's probably more over thanks to the Bad News Barrett gimmick than he is holding the title.
Oh, absolutely.
It's another case of where his gimmick doesn't necessarily need a title reign to be over with the fans, because he's absolutely hysterical, and you can see that he's enjoying the gimmick. And I think a lot of fans really will buy into a gimmick if the wrestler who's got the gimmick actually enjoys it and is having fun with it. This is why Goldust has had the longevity that he's had, because he completely embraced the character. He just got really weird for the sake of weirdness. He embraced the character. And that is what I think Bad News Barrett has done with the character that he's been given. He's embraced it, he's having fun with it, and fans are now kind of getting behind that.
Speaking of characters, we've been asked by XDiggy Gaming, what did you feel...
Who's riding around on a moped?
What did you feel about
With Khalifa.
the Raw fan costume controversy? Personally, personally, it didn't really bother me. I feel WWE did the right thing. They were right in view of the camera, and obviously they dressed up to gain some kind of attention. So whether they choose to do that, WWE still reserve the right to ask you to move if you're disturbing their TV performance.
Oh, it's
But that would go
fun.
with anybody, whether they were costumed up or not.
It's fun.
Oh, I completely agree, it's fun. But when you're sitting in the front row and they're obviously trying to make a point that this is coming up to the big shows and they're trying to make the entertainment the key part, if they're having distractions from things like that, it's a bad thing. And
Yeah,
it's
That's what
bad for WWE.
they needed distractions on that show. So
Yeah, that was the argument, wasn't it? If people dressed up in costume were more entertaining than the show, then surely the show, they should be pulling their finger out rather than sitting bitching and complaining about everybody else.
I would agree, but when you're in the middle of a show, that's all you've got to do. That's your best bet.
I have heard a rumour that there were one or two of the wrestlers got distracted by the people at the front, which is part of the reason.
good.
Well, but the thing is, though, is that they're paid entertainers. They should be able to maintain their focus.
Oh,
Should be being the operative word.
Yeah,
Don't worry. I'm distracted by a moped right now.
should be is the main part. And see, there's the thing. Paul gets distracted by a moped. Now imagine how they felt being in the ring when Macho Man's ghost is sitting at ringside.
Yeah, but in my mind, like, there's a little bear riding around on that moped. So that's what's going on in my head. Yeah, try and deal with that shit.
But to be fair, and this really comes down to the fact that, one, the performer should be disciplined enough. I'm not being funny. If you can stay in character for half the shit that they go through, surely you can manage to keep your focus on the other guy for 5 minutes.
Yep.
And the other issue is, like we've said, if they're more entertaining than the show, that's a matter of the writers need to pull their finger out their arse rather than sit there and complain. Like, I know it's Kevin Dunn's pet peeve apparently, but still, if that's causing issues, your show really needs to improve.
Yeah, Kevin Dunn's a cunty curmudgeon. That's what he is. Jeez. Quit worrying about the fans having fun at your show. Good Christ, fucking fans having fun. And worry about the on-screen product. Christ, I mean, you're lucky that you even have.
Say
You're
that
lucky.
6 times fast. Anti-curmudgeon.
I will later. But I mean, with crowds nowadays, they are so goddamn dead. I mean, at least you have some folks that are there to have fun. But if that's their policy, then that's their policy. Though, then stick to your guns, make it uniform, and then
I think
I can also understand, since last time there were people dressed up, although they may have been slightly drunk, there was a fight in the crowd.
I think when the main thing says on your ticket that they reserve the right to be able to move you, it's the same at any theatre performance or any outdoor performance. Even if you go to like a stunt show and you're causing a scene, they can choose to move you.
I do
I
believe
choose to eject you.
I do believe that they were given free merch to wear.
Oh, completely. They were given free Usos t-shirts, free Cena t-shirts.
But to be fair, who wants an Uso t-shirt?
yeah, really.
I do need
Free
things
is
burned.
free.
Thank you.
Yeah, but you at least go and pick out the Balor t-shirt. You don't sit there and go, well...
Yeah, I would at least like wear a Roman Reigns one or something. Christ.
Roman Reigns, Balor, Kevin Owens. Don't go pick out the Uso shirt.
Yeah, give me a good one. Fuck.
You know what it was? They got given the ones they couldn't sell.
Yep.
Just to answer one quickly, Bill Neville, NAI, we're not going to Mania this year, sadly. We will be watching it. We will be doing special shows coming up next week, but we'll talk about that more later.
What? Adrian Neville? He's listening?
What? Bill Neville,
Bill
Adrian's
Neville.
brother.
Oh, that's his brother.
It's his brother, clearly.
Tell your brother we said hey.
But no, hopefully as of next week, I'll be able to let you know whether or not I will be going to WrestleMania 32. The plan is that I will be, and I will be front and center. So hopefully.
It's also the plan for me. Hopefully we're a couple of friends. I am discussing that.
I see he's discussing it with other people.
Oh,
yeah.
I see how it is.
It's alright, me and my
Oh.
big thumbs will go elsewhere.
Me and my big giant thumbs are gonna hitchhike there.
Oh, and here's the other big thing. Apparently the guys that were in the front seats, they were given free tickets to another event.
What?
Oh, well, that's pretty nice then.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, seemingly. Take it up with XDiggy Gaming.
Well, that was pretty nice. Oh,
I wonder if that's
all
what
I
the
gotta
villain-
say though, to finish this off though, all I know is that if they're gonna be doing this to those guys, I don't want to see that fuck twat Frank the Clown in the front row anymore.
Mm.
Yeah.
I will say at least Frank the Clown, the Red Hat guy, and the Brock Lesnar guy all kind of keep to the sides.
I have to admit,
I
I'm
like Red
impressed. I have to admit, I'm impressed with how often that Brock Lesnar guy is there.
Oh yeah, him and Red Hat guy are there constantly. Wait,
I
Rick
like
the
Red
Sign
Hat guy. Yeah, he's got good signs. I like that guy.
I'm pretty sure they just like get in a van or something and drive around following stars.
I'm fairly sure if you go back to 2003 and you watch every pay-per-view from Survivor Series to WrestleMania, I think he's at every one.
Jeez.
Yeah,
That
he had
guy
good signs.
He's got deep pockets or a lot of debt. So go you, sir. On
Speaking
that
of
note-
that, I know when I used to attend concerts on a particular artist, and I will not mention who, but I'd run to the same girls over and over and over again. And one lady actually quit her job for 6 months to be a groupie.
That's awesome.
Krista, that
Try to
woman
make
was you,
money
wasn't
on a
it?
groupie.
Yeah.
Being a groupie.
Was that
Yeah.
woman you, Krista?
No, those are the good ones.
No, that was not
That's
me.
like one of those times you go to your doctor and say, I have this friend.
No. She was from the States.
Oh, well. Not one of those people.
Just a big thank you, by the way, to everyone who's shared or retweeted or mentioned our show tonight on Twitter. You guys are doing amazing. We couldn't be doing this kind of stuff without you, so a big thank you.
Yes, and Paul loves you.
And Paul loves each and every one of you equally.
Yes.
And we
But
won't forget you when we start making money doing this for full time.
Absolutely not.
Yes. You were still
Let's
You'll get your free stuff.
to this week's Pop and Heat segment. So,
Yeah.
Krista, you've joined us last. Let's hear from you. What's your Pop and Heat this week?
You guys suck.
We're going to catch you off guard every time.
Well, my heat is kind of a pop and kind of a heat.
Ooh.
It's Daniel Bryan being part of the IC title match. My pop is, I think it's great that he's going to be in the mix with them. My heat is that it almost seems like, he's trying to sound really excited about going there, and he's towing the company line and kind of saying how it's great, it's going to be fabulous. But we all know he's probably, stomach turning because, hey, I don't get to be in the main event anymore. I get to be with the rest of the boobs in the mid-card title run.
Well, screw the vanilla midget. He's fine in the mid-card.
Pretty much. That's pretty much what it's screaming. It's not saying, we kind of believe in Daniel Bryan. We want to see him get back to where he was. It's almost like, okay, you've been injured. We're going to kick you to the mid-card. Because really, if you look at the mid-card and the IC title, aside from maybe Ambrose, all those dudes have had major injuries.
This is actually very, very true.
My
All of
favorite
them.
thing about
Out, with the exception of Bryan, who's only been out with the one injury, but he was out quite a while, the rest of those boys have been out multiple times.
My favorite thing about this, with Daniel Bryan being in that event, is he tried to make it a big deal and say it's the only title he's yet to win.
Yeah.
That's
And maybe that's what the IC title needs to be elevated, because let's face it, this sucker used to be, that was the main event of some WrestleManias was the IC title.
But the
And they keep bringing forth, all these, Hall of Famers that carried the IC title, and it was such a big deal. But yet, you look recently, I'm sorry to everybody who's big fans of these wrestlers, nobody noteworthy has carried the IC title in quite some time.
Cody Rhodes.
Dolph Ziggler?
No.
But
To be fair, Rhodes and Ziggler are the two guys on the current roster who have elevated that top to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but it hasn't stayed elevated. It's almost as if after they've had
No,
the
because it
run,
goes back
it went
down
down
and
into the
gets
shit heap.
No,
And
because
even
it
the
goes back
last
down
run
and
by
gets fought.
Ziggler, it wasn't really noteworthy, was it?
Well, it goes back down. It gets fought for on main event. It doesn't main event any Raw or any show ever. It's
Nope.
constantly fought over in squash matches or matches that don't really last that long or people get screwed out of. It never headlines a pay-per-view. It's never even come close to headlining a pay-per-view over the past year. Same goes for the US title. You want to look at something that means something, you're going to need pay-per-views where the IC title is the main event, where the US title is the main event. That is the best way to elevate the titles.
Which
Yeah, and
could
it's
be
not going
what
to be
they're
done.
leading to.
And it's not going to be done
Oh, contraire, mon
But
frere. It could happen.
bouncing around the same four guys.
Okay.
Don't worry, we'll get to that in a little bit.
Let's stick on topic. The pop and heat from Burning's Piritu says Rusev flipping the table on top of Cena was his pop. His heat was making the guys in the front row change clothes. Paul, what's your pop and heat?
My pop of the week goes to Max Landis for Wrestling Isn't Wrestling. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go check it out. It's about 20 minutes. It's there on YouTube. It's fucking hilarious. It makes you think. It is just... Words can't describe how funny it is and just how fantastic it is. It obviously inspired me this week. My heat of the week will go to Kevin Dunn for being a cunty curmudgeon.
Say
Joe's
that
not
6
going to
times
say that,
fast.
I can't.
At least you're honest.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris, what's your pop and heat?
My pop goes to Roman Reigns for the mic work. My heat is the fact that they still can't build freaking titles.
You know what, though? You have no idea how happy it makes me to hear you say that Roman Reigns did good. It really... It shows how objectionable you are.
Well,
So,
yeah.
Well done, sir.
I mean, the fact of the matter is he ready for the main event? No. Is he progressing? Yeah. Is he progressing to the main event level? Well, we'll see. But
You're going into it open-minded. And that's all that we ask for. So, good job on you. You leveled up this week.
Yeah, he used level up. Well done. My pop and heat this week. This is kind of a tough one for me. Because as much as I said I found Raw average or a 6.5, I can't really say there was a lot of moments that I hated. I honestly can't. I think the biggest thing for me was probably Rusev's translator. Or attorney, or whatever you want to call him. The guy sucked.
Oh, that was inexcusable.
My pop of the week, probably going to Reigns and Brock. I really, really liked those promos, and they felt personal. I do, however, wish that the camera had got closer in on Reigns' face while he was talking.
Yeah, I also wish that the camera had cut faster, like when he turned around to look at Heyman and then he looked back at the camera, it looked like he was looking off into the distance.
Yeah. X Diggy says that his heat was WWE maybe trying to sue the Young Bucks, and his pop was Stinger on Raw. So, I mean, it's always a bonus. It was a good thing. It wasn't like a big pop moment for me, but I think, again, that was because the internet ruined it. You know, if I hadn't been silly and gone on the internet, I wouldn't have seen it. So it wouldn't have been a big deal, but I ruined it for myself.
That's why I don't use the internet while I'm watching Raw anymore.
See, this is why I tell people, though, not to use social media an hour before Raw, during Raw, or an hour after Raw. Because you go in kind of with an open mind then.
I can't help it.
I know, sometimes you just can't help but go on social media. Like, sometimes Twitter is more entertaining than a segment that's actually on.
It really is. I'm not a chatty person in real life, but, you know, I will fucking talk my ass off on Twitter, so.
You could have fooled me that you weren't a chatty person.
I'm really not. If you know me in real life, I'm actually a fairly quiet guy until you put a fucking phone in my hand or a mic in front of my face.
Nice. So how come we ain't making money off of you yet?
We will.
I'm tricking out on the streets, but you know it's hard out there. Just saying.
My
Okay,
goodness.
guys. I need to ask, obviously we're coming up to WrestleMania, we couldn't get by without saying, who is the biggest WrestleMania star of all time? Obviously, Shawn Michaels coins himself Mr. WrestleMania. Hulk Hogan had the defining Andre moment at WrestleMania. Stone Cold and The Rock have done 3 WrestleManias against each other. So who would you say is the biggest WrestleMania star?
Honestly, Undertaker.
Yeah, I gotta go Taker. But since everybody else said that, I can't go with the grain, so I'm gonna go Hogan. But I
Hogan was
really
already mentioned.
I really mean Taker. But I'm gonna go Hogan.
Right. To me, it's got to be Taker, because like I said earlier, the first thing I remember from wrestling was Orton versus Taker at WrestleMania 21. You look at most of the WrestleMania things, you look at the streak, you look at all of the matches at Mania, Taker's almost always on that card.
Yep.
Even now, even the streak's broken, he's still turning up to Mania for some reason.
Could someone do me some quick research, whoever's listening tonight? Find out who has been on the most WrestleManias other than The Undertaker. Because I think it's Kane. So if Kane and The Undertaker have both done that, that's fairly impressive.
Yeah, it should be Kane.
This year marks Kane's 12th consecutive WrestleMania.
Yeah, he's up there then.
Yeah, I'm thinking either Kane or Triple H are probably the other ones.
Undertaker is got the most WrestleMania matches at 16. HBK is second with 12. Hogan had 10.
I don't want to jump in there. How can Undertaker have only had 16 matches when he's 21?
One.
Yeah.
Yeah, but his most WrestleMania appearances is 22, which is The Undertaker. Most consecutive WrestleMania appearances is 14, The Undertaker, 17 to 30. Bret Hart had 12, WrestleMania 2 to 13. Undertaker didn't appear or didn't have a match at all WrestleManias.
Yeah, he missed 16.
Yeah.
Here's a big point. Lesnar is the bigger star. He did the improbable and ruins Undertaker's legacy. So would that now make him bigger logically than The Undertaker at WrestleMania?
What if they built it properly? That's a simple answer.
In a vacuum, maybe. But no.
Here's a piece of trivia. So, Undertaker has the most Mania wins at 21, and the most consecutive wins at 21. It's Randy Savage that has the most wins at one WrestleMania, and that's WrestleMania 4.
4. Yeah.
And the most WrestleMania losses, you boys will love this, Triple H.
Hey.
Yay!
Well, that's because he's so good at playing the chicken shit heel.
Oh, because he's so benevolent and he just has to put everyone over. Yeah, okay. I said
it. But see, if you go watch Wrestling Isn't Wrestling, that just sells everyone on Triple H. That's some of the best character building ever.
He really is. I just don't like him. He's, you know what? Honestly, Triple H is a show unto himself.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's so good.
Earmark that. Earmark that for a showdown.
And here's one for you trivia buffs as well. The Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon, have never won at WrestleMania.
I know, that makes me so sad.
Same with Jeff Hardy. Goldust never won at WrestleMania. And R-Truth, who's going into the IC title match at this year's Mania, and he's never won a match at Mania, so I think it's pretty safe to say that the one man who won't be going over the IC title is R-Truth.
It's R-Truth's time. You know what? I absolutely love the addition of him into this whole IC title.
He's so good.
He is. I mean, he has been just the one constant in this whole thing. I think he is absolutely fantastic. It's nice to see him get a little something to do, and it's pretty high profile at this point. He's perfect.
I like R-Truth. You know, he's a seasoned veteran. He makes the guys going up against him look good.
And
you know, you see a lot of the new guys, like you see it, not so much now, but previously, if a new guy came into the roster, he was matched off against R-Truth because R-Truth would make him look good.
Yep, he is the perfect jobber for new guys.
Yeah.
Do you know what I love
and the fans Love him.
Do you know what I love about the addition of R-Truth to this match? Is the fact they referenced his fear of heights that he mentioned about 3 years ago in a ladder match with Cena.
I know, wasn't it great?
They mentioned that he's still afraid of heights. That's the best continuity I've seen from WWE in years.
Oh, that absolutely. That my ears perked up when I heard that because I was kind of half paying attention and I heard that and I was just waiting for him to talk about his fear of spiders too. And
I would love to think he gets to the top of the ladder, sees how high he is, freaks out, and jumps down.
Yep, it just quickly walks back down it. That's what I want. He's the one guy that can pull that off.
R-Truth, or as many of the other people call him, Black Santino.
Oh, no.
Terrible. That's absolutely terrible.
I've seen people call him that on Twitter. It's horrible.
Oh, people are jerks.
Yeah, people are jerks.
I'm not sure how right this is, but another trivia piece for all you trivia geeks out there. The only wrestlers to be in the opening and final match of the same WrestleMania is Bret Hart at WrestleMania 10
Boom.
and Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30.
Well, if you would have gave me another 10 seconds, I would have got it.
Yeah, right.
I would have.
Where's my Dusty Rhodes impression?
You don't get one now.
Oh, well, fine. Be that way.
I will.
Okay, guys, as we come up to the halfway point, we just want to say, obviously, if you're enjoying us, please give us a subscribe and a like. Let us know how you're feeling about the show in the comments. And obviously, if you want any more questions, any questions answered, please feel free to send them in.
That's right, if you want any more questions answered.
Yeah, but if you want questions answered, just feel free to send them in and we'll answer them as quick as we can. Guys, obviously, WrestleMania coming up. We're now 1 year removed from WrestleMania 30, which will be deemed for a long time as the last big WrestleMania. How do you feel they can one-up it this year?
Maybe by actually caring about it this year.
Wait for that.
Because it doesn't really feel like they care. Like, just for the 4 weeks up to WrestleMania should be like a huge build, huge anticipation. Everybody should be like salivating at the mouth going, this is going to be so great, this is going to be so great. Quite frankly, I don't think anybody gives a shit anymore.
I care.
I know you care, honey.
It's still real to me, damn it.
I know you care, honey, I know. But it's getting to the point, like, if you can't, you know, it just seems really haphazard. It's like they're trying to throw everything together last minute to see what's going to work. And with WrestleMania being like the flagship show, the grandest stage of them all, the showcase of the immortals, you'd think there'd be a more of a run-up. You know, it's if you will, you know, you driving an 18-wheeler and you've got a steep grade coming up, you've got to get in the right gear and you've got to get the right speed, otherwise you're not going to make it to the top. This is what's happening with, what's appearing to happen with the product is that they're that 18-wheeler, they're coming up to that steep grade, they're not in the right gear, and they're not at speed, so they're not going to make it up to the top of the hill.
Welcome to the WWE.
Yeah. You know, but when people can get more excited about NXT, or they're getting more excited about the, you know, Lucha Underground or New Japan, and they're not having that same enthusiasm for WWE, which is, which is supposed to be the big stage. It's, as much as they don't think that there's any competition, because there truly isn't, it's still a case of you shouldn't rest on your laurels. You should always want to be delivering a new product, a better product, to get people excited, go, holy cow, you've got to be watching this on Monday nights, on Friday nights, or whenever SmackDown is, and that kind of thing.
Hey, I'm just waiting for NXT to be on the pre-show. I mean, if that happens, everyone will be like, well, holy shit, that's a pre-show to watch. But if that does happen, they're going to outperform the main roster.
I would honestly love to think that come the pre-show, we get a little bit of Enzo and Cass. I would just be sold forever.
What, at WrestleMania?
No, just for the soft. Just for the soft.
Yeah, you're soft.
Well, my last name's Bonner, so take that as you will.
I thought it was Boner.
It's two N's, but yeah, let's go with that.
That's how we say it over here. So.
No, we say it Bonner. Rhymes with donor.
You guys really aren't helping.
That's in the Donner Party.
All right, so what was the question again? What do we do with Mania? Make it feel important?
How
Okay,
do
can
they
it top
one?
last year?
Yeah, how do they one up
Um,
last year?
well, that's a tough one because like last year was a top 5 Mania to me. I mean, that was an all-time great show. So you're just gonna have to really deliver on the in-ring. I mean, you're gonna have to have some blow-away great matches, and I think that they can do that with quite a few of them. You already know that ladder match is gonna be insane. You're gonna have some insane spots with that. Rollins Orton, I think that one is gonna be really sneaky good.
I think they're going to add a stipulation to that.
It doesn't really need one, but I'm not gonna object to it.
6 tag match player.
Oh Christ. And that main event is really gonna have to deliver. So it's either gonna have to be just one brutal fucking match, or you're gonna have to have some kind of interesting finish that's gonna make everyone remember it. So I mean, take that as you will. You know, if there's a turn, a swerve, a cash in, something. You know.
I think there's a
But
lot
yeah, I don't think
riding
it
on
can
it.
top last year. It's weird. I mean, eventually, you know, you have to you gotta push stars to create stars, and these last 2 years have really felt like a changing of the guard, and I gotta think that has to continue this year, and it easily can. So.
Chris, do you feel they can one up it this year, or do you feel that this is going to be a lackluster year, so to say?
Playoff last year, in theory, yeah. Are they likely to? I don't think so. I feel like they're in a situation now where if Reigns had had the build, this may have been different. But it hasn't. It's just fallen flat on its face, and it's... yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
For me, I think they can one up it. I won't lie. I think this WrestleMania is going to take a lot of people by shock. A lot of people don't expect it to be good, even though we look at the card and we think these are some great matches. People don't think they're going to live up to the expectation. I think a lot of people are downplaying it because of what we see on Raw. The difference between Raw and WrestleMania is you get more time in a match to show what you can do.
Yeah, but you know they're going to be giving extra time to guys like Sting and Triple H and Bray Wyatt and Undertaker, where they don't need that time. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's real dicey. I mean, you know, I'm super excited for this show, but I mean, last year really was almost a top 3 WrestleMania for me. It was really that goddamn good.
You know, it was a good show, and there's no denying that. As much as I
Yeah, it
dislike
was
Daniel Bryan,
It was great.
it was a good show.
Oh, trust me, I was totally shitting on Daniel Bryan last year, but fuck, it didn't stop me from loving that show.
Okay, guys, we've hit that halfway point. We're coming into, obviously, the second half of the show, so if you want to make sure that people are sending the same questions, if you want to make sure that we can answer them as quickly as we can and as smart as you can to give you the correct answer that you want to hear, and as honestly as we can, make sure you're sending them in and sharing the link to your friends so that they can hear the show too. If you are liking it, make sure you like and subscribe us on YouTube, and head over to Levels of Wrestling at podbean.com, and make sure that you follow us on there to keep up with all the stuff. Now, we did promise in the start of the second hour that we would give you a big announcement. I'm going to make you guys wait a little bit longer. And it's not because Chris hesitated. It's because I just want to make sure that you guys are understanding how big a thing this is going to be for us.
Dick teeth.
I know, I like to think I teeth. I'm like the Brie Bella, if you will. We've been asked, who of the NXT 5 do you think will win the WWE title first?
Who are the NXT 5?
I'm assuming that would be Balor, Neville, Zayn, Atami and Owens.
Finn Balor.
Owens.
Krista?
Neville.
I'm going to say Owens. I fully believe it will be Owens.
I fully believe it will be Owens.
Finn Balor's too handsome, though. He's got to win the title.
That's why I think he's going to play the babyface underdog.
He's handsome.
Yeah, but babyface underdog.
He's a handsome boy. You put him on the main stage. He's a guy that can main event WrestleMania. I mean, just imagine how cool of an entrance they could have for him. And plus, he can deliver in ring. I mean, what's not to like?
I fully believe that people will like him. I just don't believe that this is going to be his opportunity to be the first to hold it.
Oh, he's got the look. And he's young. Well, younger.
He's young-ish.
Yeah. Like me. Like me, youngish.
Ish, yeah. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's roll with the ish part. So, obviously, now that we're into the second hour, guys, I've got to ask, what match are you most excited for at WrestleMania and why? Paul, you go first.
Ooh, I gotta say the main event. I'm really looking forward to it. After the Fastlane match, I mean, Roman Reigns really showed to me that he can be that Sheamus type of guy. We're just throwing bombs. We know what Brock Lesnar can do. Those guys are gonna go in there, have one stiff match. They're just gonna beat the ever-loving shit out of each other. It's going to be great, and hopefully, those fans are going to go into it with an open mind and go, holy Christ, this guy can fucking deliver, and really get behind him. Because guess what? Whether you like it or not, this guy is the future. It's just a lot easier to get on board and kind of go, you know what? He's not half bad. So I'm really looking forward to that match. Yeah. Whole show looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Krista and Chris, can you check your messages, please? Krista, what is the match that you're looking forward to most and why?
Yes, Dad.
I'm going to say the IC title. Just because I think it'll be gong show fun. I think it'll just be all these boys running around with crazy spots and just having a good old time. At least I hope that's what it's going to be. Do I care if it changes hands or not? Not particularly. But I would just like to see, some entertainment. That's what we're paying for. We're paying to be entertained. That's why it's called sports entertainment. So I'm actually looking really forward to that.
I've got to agree with Paul. I'm kind of looking forward to that main event. And not because I'm kind of waiting to see if Reigns can do it. I'm waiting to see what happens with Lesnar's contract. I think the whole match currently rides on that contract decision. And I think they already know the answer, but they're keeping it very hush, and they're playing it up like they don't know. There's no reason for them to mention this on TV several times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and almost intentionally not bury it, but just kind of push it down a little bit. Downplay your main event. I mean, that's a very calculated decision.
I mean, to me, that seems like Brock Lesnar knows that he's staying, and there's a high possibility that he's leaving as champion. I think, honestly, if they want to do it properly, Reigns loses just, and then Rollins tries to cash in, and he gets prevented, and Lesnar looks like a beast going forward.
Yeah, Lesnar should be the one where, he's just pinned Reigns, Rollins comes down. Rollins goes crashing. Lesnar needs to fly out of that ring and smack him to...
Oh, no. It needs to happen. As Lesnar is down for the pin, Rollins crawls in and goes for the curb stomp as he's lying across him. How perfect would that be? But then he still kicks out. I mean, we've seen Brock get up with what was seemingly a broken rib after he'd received a moonsault on the table, or an elbow drop on the table, sorry, and still win a match. That's going to be perfect. If he cashes in and messes up, Lesnar looks like the tank that WWE wants him to be. He then goes off, and Reigns gets a full year of build before he gets Retribution at the next WrestleMania.
Yeah, you do that year build where you have him go, I was this close. I was so close. I had it right there. And I just couldn't get it. But guess what? Next year I'm going to be back. I'm going to win that title. You people thought that I was getting too much too fast. I'm going to show you I haven't. I'm going to work my ass off for the next 12 months, and I'm going to earn your respect.
Roman Reigns has been downplayed a lot, and I'm not sticking up for the guy. He's got a lot of work to go, but there's still time. I've been asking on Twitter, obviously, what do people feel is the most exciting match to look forward to? We've had 2 people so far say the IC title ladder match. We've had people saying that they can't wait for Taker and Bray to see what's going to happen, seeing Sting wrestle in a WWE ring, and people are still very excited for Lesnar versus Reigns. Chris, what are you most excited for?
I have no idea.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
A bit of a bad thing, to be honest with you. Like, when it's at the point that I can't tell what I'm looking forward to, there's something wrong.
See, to me, I don't know. I think we're all a little bit spoilt for choice this year. In the on paper, all these matches seem great, and we know they can all do well. Just we don't feel they've been given enough build, and that does take away from the product a little bit.
Well, since we were talking about the WrestleMania main event, obnoxious CJ Webb wants to know: will the WrestleMania main event have a clean finish? And will Roman become Super Cena 2.0 and divide the audience, or will booking aim higher?
I'm going to go with booking will aim higher, and they've got a full year to do it. Because I still stick by Brock Lesnar walks out as champion.
Yeah, I think that there's going to be a clean finish, no matter what. But yeah, he's gonna be just fine. But you know, he's going to. Yeah, I could totally see the Cena type of reactions from the crowd. I'll meet you halfway with that. You know, he's always gonna get that mixed reaction. I think from here on out.
I think everyone is now. I mean, the crowd itself seems so full of what we call smarks. Everyone knows a smart because we've all got the internet now.
Oh, they're smunts. There's a big difference between smarks and smunts. There's smunts out there.
Just find smunt.
Oh, smart cunts.
That's like grunt,
Should have seen that coming a mile off.
Greggy, you know.
No, they're smunts.
So let me ask you the elephant in the room. It's WrestleMania, and you've got Undertaker showing up. Does he win? Is it even a match?
I fucking hope it's a match.
They haven't announced it as a match.
Yeah, they haven't. You know what? I'm almost hoping it's not. I hope that it's almost like an ECW type situation where, you know, the Bray Wyatt comes out. You know, he does this thing, calls out Taker. Taker finally comes out. They have, you know, they have a nice fight. But, you know, there's no referee, nothing like that. You give them, you know, 10, 12 minutes, including entrance. Well, no, not including entrances. You got to give them like 20.
20 minutes.
Yeah, you got to go 20, including entrances. But, you know, if it's just going to be like just a nasty, old-fashioned brawl where they're just kicking the shit out of each other, I could totally deal with that. And I think everyone would be really happy with that.
Then who walks out on their feet?
Taker. You have Taker hit him with a tombstone or a choke slam or something like that, and you do almost like a visual pin. I think everyone would be happy. And it's not going to crush Bray Wyatt either.
I think the fact that Bray Wyatt's getting to pull a promo on his own, it's all good so far. Like, he's holding this feud on his own in the ring while Taker's not even there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's carrying this entire thing. I would like to see a little more variety from it. I mean, at least like a match for Bray. You know, at least give me something like that. You know, give me a couple squash matches for him, and you know, during the match, you know, you get the lights going out or something. You know, at least let us see him in the ring instead of cutting promos every week. It just feels a little samey.
Krista, what do you think? Is it going to be a match? Does Taker win? If it is a match, what do we see?
You know, at this point it's hard to say. Because usually, if Taker's going to have a match, we actually see him at ringside.
We do.
Any time it's been built up to WrestleMania where he's going to have his once-a-year match, there's always been a huge build with Taker. He's been in the vicinity. You know, where he was doing that first promo with Shawn Michaels, and he's like, you know, you are Mr. WrestleMania, you are the showstopper, you know, and going that, he's always been involved in the promos going up to WrestleMania if there's going to be a match. So I don't think there's going to be a match based on that fact alone, because it's always been part of the whole Undertaker thing. They have him building up the first 4 weeks to Mania, and then he's kind of involved in a couple after shows after WrestleMania. And then he's kind of flies off into the sunset again to go play Mr. Mom to Michelle McCool. But that hasn't happened this year. He has not been seen. So I'm wondering if he's not been given clearance to wrestle. And if that's the case, then we won't see a match. He might be cleared to come to ringside, but not in the match.
I question, obviously Bray Wyatt has said he wants to be the new face of fear. There's more than one way to do that. What if, and I mean, just as a hypothesis, Bray uses the urn to control Taker? I mean, we've seen it done before. It's not a big deal, but it's an option.
Then they would have to really continue this then. So.
Of course. I mean, Taker could be seen on TV.
Yeah, which.
I would rather he didn't, but it sounds like something current day creative would do.
I don't know. I mean, there's a whole lot of who knows going along with that match and everything around it. So, very intriguing. Looking forward to it.
Paul, I believe you had a few questions sent in, did you?
Oh yeah, sure. Hold on. With that, I had to take a sip of beverage there. You tell me you're in the middle of that.
Sipping his own Kool-Aid.
No, actually, it's sparkling water, Mandarin orange variety. It's tasty.
Fruity.
It's tasty. All right, what do we got here? Mina Carnage, our best friend Mina Carnage. He would like to know if Lesnar is re-signing, will Cena and Bryan winning the mid-card titles truly elevate them, and could it be better than the WWE title?
I don't think that them winning them alone will elevate them, but I do believe the feuds that could come off of this will help elevate them. But in order to do that, they need to make sure that the guys fighting Cena and Bryan are of a high enough caliber to make it worth something.
Putting those belts on those guys, because they're established main eventers, they're WrestleMania main eventers. That already instantly brings them up a bit. Now is the hard part. Now you can't have them lose every week. You can't have them jobbing out every week. You turn that IC title into the work rate title, almost the television title. You have that defended all the time on TV and really make guys work for it. And Daniel Bryan really is the guy to do that. Should he come out with it? And with Cena, that can almost be treated like a SmackDown type title. Where that would main event pay-per-views. That's going to main event house shows and TV. So, I think that if Lesnar retains the belt and you get two established main event guys with the undercard titles, it's only going to make them bigger and better, and the whole product as a whole is going to be better for it.
What do you think, Chris?
Of what?
of the idea that the IC and US title could become bigger if Cena and Bryan were to hold them. I know this is something you spoke about briefly before with the idea of Punk and Bryan holding the IC and US title.
Well, yeah, and it's possible. With Bryan more so, well, Cena more so actually. Bryan would be more popular, but then again, the IC title holders these days are popular for some reason. No one quite seems to understand why that is. I don't know. It's an interesting one. We'll have to wait and see, I think. It is an interesting one.
And Krista, what's your thoughts on it? I mean, again, to me, it's possible, but I'm not sure. Krista?
Yeah, I'm thinking about this here. Do I think the titles would be elevated if they're held by Cena and Bryan? You know, there could be. They very well could be. Just because of, well, the U.S. title being on Cena, it could give it more prestige because it's Cena that's carrying it. And let's be honest, out of everybody on the roster, he's as equally loved and as equally hated by the IWC. Right? Like, it's 50-50 split down the middle and how much he's loved and how much he's hated. But he moves a lot of merchandise. He is, you know, front and center. Everybody knows who he is. So I could see that, you know, bringing a little bit, kind of raising the U.S. title out of the basement. I think Bryan being the fan favorite, and it's come to that organically, I could see him adding a little bit more prestige to the IC title. You know, to kind of bring it, again, like I said, with Cena, front and center, so that people actually care about it. Because let's face it, anybody else who's carried the IC title, only their fans care about that title. Cue to the point, Ziggler.
Mm-hmm.
Ziggler fans think it's great that he's got the IC title. They give a shit about the title. The people who don't like Ziggler think it's a terrible idea that he's got the title. Or they lambast it, or, you know, kind of poo-poo it. Oh, big deal. Ziggler's got the IC title. Big deal. Big card. So I think because you have these two gentlemen who are main eventers, or were main eventers in Bryan's case, it could refocus the ICW's attention on these two lesser in this grand scheme of things, but still prestigious titles, at least in the case of the IC. That makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Cena kind of has that love-hate relationship with the fans. And if they're not going to make fans care about Cena, they need to make the fans care about the belt, at least. Because that way the next person who gets it will at least be a big deal, you know? Paul, did you have any follow-up questions?
No, that's it. But I mean, like, that really works in theory, but, you know, if you start jobbing out your champs on TV clean, I mean, it doesn't matter. It'll all be for naught. So.
Do you think they're going to job Cena?
At this point, possibly. I mean, he's not really done anything large in the last 2 years.
They're trying to transition him into old man Cena. You know, he's 30. You know what I mean? That's what they've been kind of pushing, especially there with Fastlane. They've kind of tailed back on it since then, but they were really pushing him as old man Terry Funk John Cena. I was not happy with it.
Because
there's only one Terry Funk.
Right. Well.
Okay, so let me ask you tonight's big question. This goes to all our followers as well. Who comes out of WrestleMania with the biggest pop of the night?
The biggest pop of the night?
Bryan.
Oof. Yeah. Oh, no. You know what? I'm going to go with Taker.
Sting. Sting or Taker.
Yeah. I really think it's going to be Sting, because as soon as you hear that gong and the lights go down, that place is going to fucking erupt.
Especially if they hear the gong.
Yep.
It'll be just absolutely Pandalirium.
Is there any hometown boys from where WrestleMania is going to be?
In
Anybody
Santa Clara?
No, because the
State.
Usos aren't going to be on there. So.
I thought the Usos were on WrestleMania.
No, he's
no.
injured.
Yeah, the one's injured.
The one's injured, yeah.
Does that mean
turns out I posted that the other day. It was Jay, not Jimmy. I was told off. I said they both look the same. Apparently, that's
Geez, what? They're
Twinish.
totally different.
That's twinish.
let's just be honest here. If one can't perform, neither one of them are going to. There's going to be no single match.
Hey, let's just make one of them perform, and he can play both parts.
He'll do both. I love it. You know what?
Handicap match player.
Forget it. They can just get Mizdow to finish.
I was gonna say that, fucker.
Or they could do a 6-man tag. Let's be honest.
You can only get
Tried
Mizdow.
and true, flog the dead horse, and drag it around
They
by
can
the
only
harness.
get Mizdow if he's going to be called Muso.
Muso.
He's a Muso.
I like it.
Wouldn't he be an Ustaw?
Oh, that's even better. That's it.
Ustaw. We say oos, you say dow.
Look at that. It works. Fucking book that shit.
Yeah! I should have a job doing slogans.
Oh, okay. We've had a bit of a bold statement come from one of our followers.
Who's the follower?
We've got Diggy Gaming again, says that
What
Mizdow will definitely win the Battle Royal match.
I hope so.
You know what? We're not going to tell you our predictions.
No, we're not.
You gotta wait till next week.
You're going to have to tune in next week. We've got an interesting lineup of shows coming. Shows being the plural, so tune in and find out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Mizdow could have some big things coming. I would debate if he gets one of the bigger pops of the night.
You know, he might, because he's been doing really well.
Oh, he's been doing great. I mean, that whole thing with The Miz has been booked perfectly. That's one of the more consistent feuds.
And they'll be out there early in the night, so you know the crowd. They're gonna want something to cheer. So.
Well, and I think they're perfectly placed if they're placed early in the night, because then it gets the crowd going. And let's be honest, Damian Sandow he's a good wrestler.
Do you want an interesting fact? All of WWE's champions, and even including NXT, are all heels.
Yes.
Now, what does that tell you going into WrestleMania? At least one face is winning.
Or there'll be one turn.
There's got to be at least one face win, one turn, and probably a shock letdown.
Well,
or like a swerve.
We know how Mania usually works. It's you know the faces usually go over 9 times out of 10. It's for the casual fan. So
let's put this out there. If all the heels are carrying titles, who do you think's gonna drop it to a face? Who do you think's due for if they're a face, they're gonna do a heel turn, and which heel is gonna do a face turn?
Okay, IC title.
And who do you think's gonna swerve?
I think a face has to win the ladder match because everyone except Barrett in that match is a face. And Stardust. But I think a face has to win that because obviously the number game.
So it'll probably go to Brian.
I think Cena Rusev is. I think honestly, I don't see that changing.
That could be the swerve though, where you know we're all kind of anticipating that Cena's going to walk out with that belt. So you know they swerve us and have Rusev go over.
There's your swerve match.
Yeah.
I'd say your tag titles possibly change to faces. I honestly believe that Vince would let them drop it at Mania if they have that match.
If the Usos were still alive, I would say they would win it, but...
Who's the face tag team that's going up against whoever?
They'll do it with Los Matadores.
Ugh.
Oh, you've got to be joking.
No, they're going to do it. They'll let the Mexicans win. Or the Latinos, or however they're booked nowadays.
They're from like Puerto Rico though, for real, right?
But they're from Puerto Rico, but that's how they're going to book them.
Yeah. Well, it's better than the Ascension, maybe.
Yeah, I think your next.
I can't see them dropping it to another heel team though. That's just dumb.
Well, unless they plan on.
They're Road Warrior Roadkill. That's, as far as I'm concerned, the Ascension is dead. They're now Road Warrior Roadkill.
Unless the team of Cesaro and Kid is going to get a face turn, I don't see them dropping it to the Ascension.
I hope they don't do a face turn because I like Tyson Kidd as an absolute dick.
The other option as well is the New Day doing the Freebird rule, because WWE.com actually teased that. Yeah,
You know, I would be okay with the New Day doing the Freebird rule.
You are so trying to make a New Day work. Oh,
no. I'm only saying this because WWE actually had it on their website last week that they were going to be in the match and that it was going to be the option of a Freebird rule.
Ugh. Yeah, you're trying to make that work still now.
I'm really not. I've given up.
I remember.
Oh, did you?
I've given up on New Day. I've still got one for Buffet, but I've given up on New Day.
Aww. I'm kind of sad.
And I would like to see R-Truth and Xavier Woods re-team as a tag team.
Only if they get to be called Truth and Consequences.
That'd be alright. Truth and Consequences would be alright.
But they can't call them that because of TNA.
Well, then R-Truth is R-Truth. So, but they could call him Truth Wood or Woody Truth or Truth X or X Truth.
Story.
Yeah,
X-rated Truth. I don't know. No, they can't do X-rated because Edge was the R-rated superstar. Never mind, they could do X-rated.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't mind seeing them together again as a tag team because they were really good. And like, let's face it, I think R-Truth could do with a run.
He could do a running the opposite way.
Yeah. They could turn them both heel.
No, he's only got so much time left.
Yeah.
I mean, he's what? He's early mid-40s, right? So.
It's amazing when you think at one point he was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
I think R-Truth's mid-40s.
Yeah, he was awesome in TNA, though. I mean, they really treated him like a main eventer. We were talking about, though, who could turn, right? That was the only thing we had left.
Who could turn?
That could possibly be your main event. So...
Oh, don't.
I don't want
no.
I don't want to think it either, but you could always have Paul Heyman turn on Brock, have Roman Reigns become a Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah, I've got to go with
I don't like it either.
Krista.
Yeah, I don't want it either, but, you know, hey, gun to head, if I got to pick someone that's going to turn, that's about it.
See, and this is why I'm a huge proponent that they should have more like manager type people in doing this, so that there's more than one guy being the mouthpiece. Because God knows where Zeb Coulter went.
He got injured.
He dropped off the face of the earth. You know, because like I remember growing up, and you saw guys like Bobby Heenan and Freddie Blassie and all these, and Captain Lou. And, you know, these guys, you know, doing all these promos. Same as they could bring in Dusty Rhodes. I mean, Dusty Rhodes was great on the mic.
Oh, he's saying Dusty now. He's saying Dusty.
He is a sad Dusty, but...
You want to know where Dusty is right now? This is what I imagine that he's doing right now, baby. He is right there in your house. You hear that moped. That's Dusty on that moped, just having those positive feelings.
Thank you.
There's no more hard times. He's there. He's on his moped, if you will.
I got my Dusty Rhodes impression. I love it. Thank you.
I'll tell you what you guys are going to love. The idea that we're discussing the main event of WrestleMania. Obviously, you've just discussed the heel turn. I want to discuss the opposite and say, what if he does win? Do fans complain? Do fans roll if he's not ready?
It's
of
the
course
internet.
They do. It's the IWC. They'll bitch. They bitch if their pop was too cold, if their pop was too warm. They complain about Reigns losing. They complain about Reigns winning.
Well, to be fair, though, nobody likes warm pop. But, yeah, I mean, you know, it's if Roman Reigns wins, you know, we go on Twitter and complain about it. That's what it's going to be.
And then we'll have the fangirls all swooning.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I will give those girls credit. They are behind him 110%. So
they are.
Good for them.
Yes.
You know what? I applaud them.
Who gets
really
the most
do.
extravagant entrance at WrestleMania?
Boy, Taker?
You
I'm
know,
questioning this year if it will be. I mean, I've seen the things for Rusev going up.
Yeah,
The idea
there's
that he's
something-
getting an army is amazing.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool.
well, I think that Cena will get the big entrance because it's Cena.
What more can they do with him though?
Like,
Because he
I'm
already
trying
did
to
like,
remember the entrances of WrestleMania last year, and the only one that I remember is Trips and Undertaker's. I don't remember anybody else. Oh, and the Wyatt's theme
I
being
was going
played
to say
live.
Wyatt's theme music.
Yeah, that was real
Playing out
cool.
live music.
Yeah,
But
is
that's the
there
only thing that
supposed
sticks
is
out, and usually it's like a big extravaganza.
is anybody supposed to be having like live music this year?
There hasn't been an announcement, but the fact they've used David Guetta makes me think that he could play live.
I don't know what that is.
That's the guy that's doing the main WrestleMania theme this year.
I don't know what that is. I would like to think that Rev Theory's gonna be back and do Randy Orton's theme again because I fucking love it when they do that.
As long as it's not Flo Rida.
Yeah.
But he's so, buff. They're allowed to do that with him.
Flo Rida?
Flo Rida. Have you seen the guy? He has
Yeah.
more muscle than brain. That's a bad thing.
As long as they don't. Who was it that had the feud with him? Was it Sheamus?
Yeah, there was talk of it.
I hope they don't go back to that because that was like the lamest thing I've ever watched.
Chris, who do you believe gets the biggest entrance?
Hard to say. I'm hoping Lesnar. I'm really hoping Lesnar, because then the man has the goddamn title.
And he ended the streak. I mean, let's. He needs
Yeah.
to be elevated a little bit.
Can they do a big entrance for Lesnar? I mean, really?
No, he doesn't have anything that screams that, and honestly, he would even go against his character.
He wouldn't need anything big and flashy. All he would need is stuff like to have it.
Oh, if you would like to check my last Twitter photo, by the way.
I saw that. It's
Okay.
brilliant.
I'll tell you something that could be cool for Lesnar.
Go ahead.
If he could get a bunch of like bodybuilders, UFC guys and stuff like that, people that look big and tough, to just like walk out as a crowd with him, like behind him. Even then, he looks decent.
That's just wrong on so many levels, Greg.
I'd like to think that Lesnar could have a big entrance. Take that as you will. Lesnar could have a huge entrance, but he doesn't really need it. He is
I could
incarnate.
He doesn't need it.
I could see them getting Paul to kind of introduce him though.
Yeah,
I would totally do
To do a promo before he goes to the stage.
I could
I
totally
can see
do
them.
that. Oh.
Not
that's
you.
something I've never understood. They don't use Paul Heyman to do that, and he should do that.
And I figured that Paul would make more of a, he'd be more kind of in the thick of things.
Oh, I'm trying to, but
Not you.
Oh.
You're already in the thick of things with us.
yeah,
Poor bugger you.
yeah, right.
It just kind of seems la-di-da. Like the whole setup just seems kind of like la-di-da.
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 Okay, who shocks the world at WrestleMania? Like, who pulls it out of the bag? And who gets the match of the night, so to say? A lot of people are saying it's going to be the IC title match.
Rollins.
I'm not so sure. I think Rollins and Orton could do it, and I fully believe that it could be Reigns and Lesnar.
I'm calling it right now. There will be a Phoenix Splash into an RKO.
Probably.
I'm going to tweet that right now for you, Chris.
If that happens, that will be the single biggest pop of the night. Because people will just stand on their feet and be like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, that would be the holy shit moment of the night.
That would be a holy shit chant right there.
Yeah.
I would like to see Orton and Rollins have the time to like do what they do in the ring because they're both very good. When Orton isn't being the crybaby whiny face D-bag. If he's just going in the ring, he's allowed to do what he does. He's a very well-rounded performer. He hits the spots. He sells the moves. He doesn't oversell them. Ziggler and Rollins. It's evenly paced. He has enough rest moves or hold moves that if the guy's getting winded, they can rest. Not a big deal.
He has no problem sitting in a rear chin lock. So.
No, he doesn't have no problem sitting in a rear chin lock until the guy gets his breath back.
He's got better. He's not rest hold Randy anymore like he used to be.
No, but you know what I'm saying.
I'm not sure if that meant he was horny for rest holds or what. But
yes.
But he's just progressed to an all-round good performer. He's been wrestling with WWE for a very long time. People don't realize it because he's still a young guy.
I would like to make a point as well that Chris Calls It will now be one of our weekly segments. So, Chris, get ready to call something every week.
Why not?
Chris calls it, everyone. And we better call Paul.
Yeah, better call Paul. My match of the night, I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with the main event. I really have high hopes for it. I think those two are going to deliver.
Did you really just put Tiny Junk on your tweet?
I did. Hashtag Tiny Junk. Yeah, I agree with Paul. I think that Reigns-Lesnar probably will steal the show. Now that I think about it.
It's going to be that hard-hitting, just stiff, killing each other back and forth, throwing bombs type of match that is right up my alley. I mean, I'm a guy that likes Sheamus matches, so take it for what that's worth. But, I just love two bulls going in there, just beating the ever-loving shit out of each other, and I think that's what those two are going to do.
And
you think it's going to be a clean win?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And here's the best part. WrestleMania this year for Reigns needs to do for Reigns what it did for Austin.
Yep.
He needs to gain respect, win or lose.
Oh, he will. He will. He's coming out of that match bruised up, bloodied up, beaten down, but I gotta think so will Brock Lesnar. So you may not like him afterwards, but you're gonna respect him after this.
Well, and that's just it. Let's be honest. Even though he's main eventing WrestleMania, he doesn't technically need to win, provided he gives a good. It appears that he's given a good enough fight, and even if he loses, if he still stands tall and defiant in Brock Lesnar's face, that will do a lot to elevate him.
Yep,
He's got to put on a show.
Yep, it can go either way, and absolutely, you're absolutely right.
This is a case of where he doesn't need the title win, but he needs to put up one hell of a fight.
Yep.
And look and do some considerable damage. So even if Brock does a DQ, so he's disqualified. We all know title matches don't change on a DQ. I would like it a clean finish, but we know that ain't happening.
I'm happy if it gets to the point where they've brawled so much that Lesnar manages to make Reigns unconscious.
Yes.
Like, if they want to make it legit and they want to make it a thing, have him pass out.
Yep. Have him not tap or fall to a pinfall, but have him lose conscience where he can't.
So basically what you're asking for is the Sami Zayn treatment.
Yeah.
In some ways, yeah, because it would work for him.
If it's not WrestleMania, I would say okay, but at WrestleMania, I want there to be a clean finish.
So you
especially in the main event. Main event.
Definitely want a clean finish.
Yeah, main event. I want a clean finish. I don't want any of that nonsense.
Do we see a return at WrestleMania?
Yeah, Undertaker.
Sheamus.
Yay!
Do we think Sheamus returns at Mania? And if so, when does he return?
Under the Giant Battle Royal.
Yeah, Battle Royal.
What's the point in returning if he's not going to win it?
Who says he's not going to win it?
No one,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming he wouldn't.
He's second favorite. He's second favorite with the bookies. It goes Miz down Sheamus.
To me, if they're trying to make it look like how can I put it? If he's trying to make it a case of he's returning heel, how can he win that match in a heel way and make it seem interesting, so to say? Because it would have to come down to Mizdow Sheamus, and I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Just wail on him.
Well, then you just turn him heel the next night or something. You don't
That's
have to do
what
it right there in that match. So
No, you just have him wail on Mizdow.
I thought the best way to do it would be to have him win it and then completely destroy the statue.
But what I was going to say was you have Mizdow get the crap kicked out of him. He jumps out of the thing, like to get himself thrown out, and Sheamus runs out after him and still carries on kicking the crap out of him.
It would work, but not in Mania, I don't think.
Okay, if I'm gonna do a Sheamus heel turn revolving around the Andre thingy, I have him win it. Then the next night, because you know they always do tag matches and shit like that. You have the multi-man tag match. You have him turn against Roman Reigns. There you go, and that solidifies him as the #1 challenger for him.
We got a comment here from XD Gaming.
Yeah,
I
go
see
for it.
Sheamus returning the night after and beating the IC title winner.
That
I
was
would
a
think
thought.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a very good point. It's a very good thought to have about that, because I could see them doing that as well. Is to, instead of having him come out at Mania, have him come out the night after at Raw, where he'd get a bigger pop, or heat, whatever, regardless of how they're going to bring him out, because he's not competing with everybody else at WrestleMania.
Who's the first person eliminated from the Battle Royal?
Santino.
Who's in the Battle Royale again?
Pretty much everyone that's not on the rest of the card.
Curtis Axe will be the first one out. Just you watch.
Yeah, I would like that idea.
Actually, that's possible.
I want that to happen.
Oh god, what if he wins?
No, he's not gonna win. Get the fuck
What
out
if
of
they
here.
make that a thing?
No, it's not a thing. He stinks.
Yeah, I know he stinks, but what if?
No, there's no what if. He stinks.
A little bit of interesting read here for you guys. According to the Wrestling Observer, belief that Brock Lesnar has or will re-sign with WWE based on recent scripting of Raw promos is premature. As of this writing, there has been no movement on Brock Lesnar's WWE negotiations, and WWE will again negotiate and attempt to get him to sign a new deal in LA on the 23rd of March. Whatever led to the Brock Lesnar's blow-up at Raw in Nashville has reportedly not been settled. The best case scenario for Brock Lesnar is to become a free agent before he chooses who to sign with, as re-signing with WWE before WrestleMania gives away some of his leverage.
Yep.
Can I change my pick of who's going to be eliminated first at the Battle Royale?
Go ahead.
Zack Ryder.
Heath Slater.
Oh, all good choices.
Is Heath Slater even in the match?
Yes. So Sin Cara.
Yeah.
I'll
And
say-
Darren Young and Titus O'Neil, the primetime players.
Holla.
Hello.
I'm gonna say that Kane and Big Show eliminate each other. Just for the fact that,
Yeah, because that's what we want. We want those two to feud.
yeah, I believe they will after this, which is sad. But
Again.
I'm gonna ask a question that's kind of been bugging me, guys. Does Sting stick around after WrestleMania?
No.
I'm gonna go yeah. I'm gonna say yeah. I think he's eventually gonna be turned into like an authority type figure. The authority has really run its course. I mean, when you think about how long that's been a thing, I mean, it's time to switch things up a little bit, and I think Sting can be that guy, be the on-air general manager, whatever, the on-air authority figure.
Only if he keeps the paint. I hated when he took the paint away.
Oh no, he can't have the paint on, be taken seriously. He's got to wear sunglasses. No, he's got to wear sunglasses indoors.
Oh yeah, 'cause that'll help me taken seriously.
Here
Yeah.
is my thoughts on that whole idea.
Go ahead.
What was that? Was that Dusty having a drink?
I think it's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Like, it's absolutely horrendous to have him align with the authority after doing this.
No. He becomes an authority figure.
Oh, but
Yeah.
still, it's the same damn thing. It's trading, tit for tat.
Yeah, absolutely. But they can't have a show without not an authority figure. It's their crutch, and they're not going away from it anytime soon.
I can see him being a GM. That's fine, but not like the whole
same thing.
place.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, same thing. On-air authority figure.
Yeah.
I'm going to not shame the person who said this because I'll feel bad for you and never talk to you again. But let Axel win the Battle Royal and he claims it's his #1 contender match. He then puts on a 1-minute championship match on the next Raw. No.
And gets his bum handed to him. Yes.
Oh, even so, that would be a waste of a match. It would be pointless.
And considering, if depending on who wins, Axel's going to lose, and it'd just be painful to watch.
It would be.
No.
There's no way the guy coming out of WrestleMania, winning the title, is going to lose to Curtis Axel. It's just not going to happen.
He stinks.
It does stink.
It's like... yeah.
That's how Sheamus turns heel. Sheamus bitch slaps Curtis Axel.
No, that turns him face.
Well, and this is the sad thing is that a lot of these guys on the roster should be not there anymore.
That's very true. I think if you've been there 5 years and you've not really done much, it's time to move.
Yeah, it's time to wrap up your contract, say thanks for the memories, and head down to the independents and make some noise there.
I'm inclined to say, obviously, there's a couple of guys that we haven't really spoke about in the Battle Royale, such as Ryback, Mark Henry. I mean, he's been teased quite a lot to win
Mark
that.
Henry, that's my pick. Oops, I can't be tipping my hand, can I?
You've bet money on this shit, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I'm not
Still time.
I'm not a degenerate like some of the people here on our show.
Hey,
But
asshole.
no, but I can't be tipping my hand because we have our special Mania preview shows coming up next week.
What culture has actually got the 7 most likely winners of Andre the Giant Battle Royale? Number 7 is Curtis Axel.
Ugh, they stink.
Number 6 is Bo Dallas.
Ugh.
I had forgotten about Bo Dallas. You
I
can
think
tell
there's a
how well
reason.
he sticks in my mind. Fandango was number 5.
Are these people mad?
He's still a thing.
Are these people mad? Are they blind? Have they watched the show in a week?
Number 4 is The Miz. That I could see.
No.
Even though he draws 6. Number 3 is Damian Sandow.
That I could see.
I would like to see that, absolutely.
I swear he still needs t-shirts that just say, "It's Sandow."
Yeah. Number 2 is Sheamus. If they're going to do that, then he needs just to come out and wipe everybody out of the ring.
Yep.
And number 1 is Ryback. Now, I could get behind that, too.
Yeah, I'd be okay with
Ryback?
Ryback.
I'm okay with it too, but it's really out the blue.
It's Mania. You want faces to win. He's a face. He's a big guy.
Admittedly,
He's a big guy.
Cesaro was out the blue last year. No one expected Cesaro to win.
He's a big guy.
He is the big guy. Guys, before we go off air in the last 10 minutes, we want to tell you a little bit about what's going to go on next week. Obviously, as the run-up to WrestleMania continues, we want to give you our predictions. But we want to do it in a way that's not going to take 2 hours of your week. Because these are predictions, and they're meant to be quick, and they're meant to be snappy. So we're going to be releasing a video per day of the matches that will be going on between Monday and Sunday. Each day will give you a different prediction. Now, hopefully you guys can keep up with us, as obviously we would love to hear your predictions too. So what we're going to do is, obviously, on the first day, we'll do what's the pre-show and the first match, and then from then on we'll do who we believe will win each day. So if you guys then know the order, obviously we don't know the running order of WrestleMania, but we can take a good shot at it. We'd love to hear who your thoughts are on who's going to win as well. So please try keep up with this next week as we release these videos in small slots. Obviously as well, there's going to be a couple of blog posts gone out. I'll probably do a written version of my predictions and what I would like to see at WrestleMania. Hopefully you guys get to read that, and again, I would love to hear what you guys are thinking. So please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share our videos with your friends so that we can make sure that we're getting our predictions out to you so that you know what's going on. That sounds real good.
Oh,
What
yeah.
was that?
What do
Wow.
you think?
Oh, was that?
Oh, what was that? It's not fully working yet. I'm working on it.
Can we discuss it?
Yeah, why not?
Are we saying a day?
I'll be up in the next 2 days.
There you go. Right. I've got you on tape saying it now. Guys, obviously we promised you a bit of a big announcement. For us, this is a big deal. We didn't actually think that we would get to this point so quickly. We want to give you all the best we can at one time. We want to give you something that you can keep that's going to be a bit of a bonus from us to you. And if you're not able to always catch us on the fly, maybe you'll be able to catch us in your own time. We know a couple of people work, obviously, while we do these shows. We know people are always busy. We want to give you the opportunity to listen to our shows on an easier basis than finding us on Podbean. So what we've done is we've had Chris create an app for us. Now this app is going to come out in the next 2 or 3 days, and this will be a beta version for you guys to test. So we want to get your feedback on our app. Now this is going to be a huge thing because towards the end, what's going to happen is you're going to see all of our product. That's the Levels of Wrestling, Mind of Carnage, Just Saying, and the Ringside Ramblers, all in one place. We're all going to be on an app together. You'll see all of our podcasts. You'll have areas where you can send in questions and let us know your feedback on the shows. You're going to have the ability to read all of our blogs and all of our articles as well. And the best thing about this is it's completely free for you to download. Now at the moment it is only going to be on Android, but hopefully in time we'll get it onto iPod for you and iTunes and things like that. It is a work in progress, but we want you guys to experience the best we can in the mobile format as well as at home. So anything you want to see, guys, we want you to let us know. And of course, we only have Chris to thank for this because he has put his heart and soul into this for the last 6 weeks. In fact, more than that, because, God, Chris, this has been like almost a full
Months.
project
for you.
Yeah, this is a final year project for me, so...
He's now getting to the point where if you don't download this app, we'll find him swinging from a bathroom stall. So please, download this app, guys. We don't want Chris to go Benoit on everyone.
Oh, Lord.
Nice.
No, but
That's
seriously,
awesome.
guys,
Yay,
a
Chris
big-
is going to get an A. He's
a
totally going to
huge-
get an A for it.
Huge thank you to everyone who's supported us so far, and a huge thank you to all of you who give us your questions every single week, who pay attention to us, who have actually read our blogs, have shared our blogs, give us the opportunity to do things as a group like this. We probably honestly wouldn't have done podcasts to begin with. It wasn't my first intention. I just wanted to write blogs and articles for you guys. So a big thank you to the team, obviously, that are working with us, to Paul, Krista, Rensis, wherever you are, Chris, Skeletor, who's going to join us tomorrow night for Breakdown, Mind of Carnage, Just Saying, Ringside Ramblers, all you guys, and of course everyone who listens every single week. You guys are doing this for us, so we're giving you something back. So please, please, please make sure you tune in with us in the next 2 or 3 days on our Twitter, and we'll let you know more information about the app. But there you have it. Chris has said it. We're going to release the beta version in the next 2 days.
Oh,
So-
yeah. I'm working on it right now.
It's been worked on all day. Chris has been doing his best to try and get it out for you as soon as he can. Already we've got people thanking you, Chris. X-Diggy Gaming is saying thank you. It's all looking up. And hopefully by this time next year, you're going to see us live podcasting, or at least some of us, hopefully from WrestleMania 32. So again, a huge thing. I honestly don't know what I could say without thanking Chris 1,000 times for doing this for us. As far as I'm aware, this is the first podcast that I've seen on my timeline for any blog or podcast. I know people have websites, but we wanted to make this mobile for you guys, so thank you, Chris, for doing this.
Yeah, we're bigger than TNA.
Yeah, we have an app in TNA, though. What does that tell you?
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Great job, Chris. We cannot thank you enough, sir.
I think this requires an applause track.
I will add the applause track right this second. And as we come to the end of the show, guys, I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. Make sure you tune in for Breakdown tomorrow, because on Breakdown we're going to be discussing creative. And not how we book things, but how we feel creative could actually be more creative. Now, I wrote an article on this a little while ago. Make sure you have a read of that. And obviously myself, Skeletor, and whoever else would like to join will be there. So please tune in for that tomorrow at the same time at 6 p.m. EST, or for those in the UK, it will be 10 p.m. GMT. So Chris, a huge, huge thank you. And of course, to everyone again who's listened tonight, who's sent in questions, Paul to Krista, we thank you, and we are more than happy to head off for the night. We've been the Levels of Wrestling. You've listened to Lowdown, and we'll see y'all again soon.